Good evening and a very warm welcome to Radio and Television Tonga News Package for the hour. Looking at today's top stories, a human papillomavirus HPV vaccination program will begin its rollout for teenage girls ages 10 to 14 in Tonga next month. Deadline for Heart by 12 by-elections campaign is set for 9 a.m. tomorrow morning, 24 hours prior to the constituency's by-election on Thursday. And TNQAP and APTC partner to strengthen TVET program in Tonga. Now for the stories in detail. As the Health Ministry continues to implement the COVID-19 vaccination program, their focus has also shifted towards vaccines for other diseases and viruses. The new vaccine, human papillomavirus or HPV, will begin its rollout for teenage girls ages 10 to 14 next month to prevent cancer causing infections and cervical precancies. This is the first time for Tonga to have such a vaccine, and it is great news for women, especially teenage girls. Alice Tupo will tell you more on that story.
This is the first time for Tonga to have such a vaccine, and it is great news for women, especially teenage girls. The senior nurse of public health, Sister Afute, said that Tonga began vaccinations in 1958 when the kingdom introduced the vaccines for TB. She added now TB cases are rare thanks to vaccines. There have been vaccines to humanize children to treat long coughs, measles, hepatitis B, brain fever, polio, pneumonia, and diarrhea, to name a few. The HPV vaccine was produced in 1996, and specialists have untested this vaccine numerous times to ensure it is effective enough to treat cervical precancers in women. The WHO approved it to be used on humans in 2016. Tonga is one of the countries that has been fortunate to receive this assistance, and the reason why they chose teenage girls in ages 10 to 14 because this is the age where they aren't usually sexually active. Various strains of the human papillomavirus or HPV, a sexually transmitted infection, play a role in causing most cervical cancer, and it is estimated that more than 70% of this disease is transmitted from male to female, and the remaining percentage is a result of hereditary. Meanwhile, Tongatapu from Public Health says that nurses and medical staff have been trained to carry out the rollout of this vaccine before the vaccines arrived in the country. The Asian Development Bank donated refrigerators to health centers and clinics in Tongatapu, including the Outer Islands, in ensuring staff of the Ministry of Health maintain the appropriate temperatures when storing these vaccines. Reporting for Radio and Television Tonga News, I'm Alice Tupo.
There is less than 24 hours before candidates are required by the law to end campaigning for the Heart by 12 by-elections, with the deadline set for 9 a.m. tomorrow morning, the 31st of August. According to the Election Act, all campaign banners must be taken down 24 hours prior to the by-election. All campaign meetings or any program regarding the campaigns must also come to a halt. In the meantime, campaigns are becoming more active as time slowly ticks away until the deadline. It is understood that there are only 5 candidates running for representative of Heart by 12 in this election: Simone Kapetawa Vuki from Felemea, Moale Finau from Hihifo, Sione Finau Tapu from Holopeka, Tevita Tuipulotuvi from Pangai, and Tevita Vaikona from Uiha. The by-election is set to replace the former People's Representative to the Legislative Assembly of the electoral constituency of Heart by 12, Vili Manu Pangai Hingano, who passed away on the 10th of June this year. The Tonga National Qualifications Authority Board, TNQAP, and the Australia Pacific Training Coalition, APTC, are working together to bridge skills gaps and develop pathways to training and employment opportunities to accommodate labour mobility and portability of qualifications. Both institutions signed a partnership agreement to improve technical and vocational education and training for an inclusive and skilled workforce for Tonga's growth and progress. The partnership is supported by Tonga and Australia to help strengthen Tonga's TVET sector. Alice Tupo has more on that story.
Both institutions signed a partnership to improve technical and vocational education and training, or TVET, for an inclusive and skilled workforce for Tonga's growth and progress. The partnership is supported by Tonga and Australia to help strengthen Tonga's TVET sector. A key focus for TNQAB and ABTC will be on enhancing the quality and relevance of TVET training, ensuring more Tongans are equipped with the necessary skills and knowledge to be more competitive in domestic and international labour markets. The TNQAB Chief Executive Officer, Dr. Albeti Buloto, said the collaboration is based on a genuine spirit of a partnership where both parties agree to complement each other's efforts and embrace the contributions of other partners to enrich development outcomes. He adds that he is confident that through our integrated, multi-sector, risk-based proportionate approach to development programming, and by drawing upon skills and capabilities from around the region and internationally, this partnership will make a lasting contribution to addressing our development priorities for the benefit of generations to come. Both institutions share a history of engagement with each other. Last year, ABTC worked with the TNQAB to develop the curriculum and facilitate the accreditation and registration of national qualifications in aged care and community services level 2. Earlier this year, ABTC renewed its partnership with Tonga's Ministry of Education and Training and the Tonga Institute of Science and Technology, or TIST, to promote skills development for improved employment opportunities for Tongans. ABTC is Australia's flagship TVET program for the region. Since its establishment in 2007, ABTC has trained over 550 Tongan graduates to help improve their employment and livelihoods. Reporting for Radio and Television Tonga News, I'm Alice Tupo.
The Pacific Agreement on Closer Economic Relation PACER Plus Implementation Unit sponsored a two-national workshop on sanitary phytosanitary measures SPS and technical barriers to trade at the Tanoa International Deadline Hotel. Alice Tupo again with the detail.
SPS measures is about making it easier for people and businesses from PACER Plus countries to facilitate trade with Australia and New Zealand while protecting human, animal and plant life and health in their countries. TBT supports assist in promoting mutual understanding of each party's technical regulations, standards and conformity assessment procedures measures, and strengthen information exchange and cooperation among the parties, the private sectors, growers or farmers, exporters, manufacturers, women groups and youth, civil society and government officials were invited to participate at the workshop. The workshop was intended to build the national capacity of the industries and government officials on the SPS and TBT measures of the PACER Plus agreement and to prompt discussions on issues that are encountered in respect of the measures and identify possible solutions. These discussions were well received and will provide guidance on the activities that are to be tabled for assistance from not only PACER Plus, but by relevant implementing agencies. Reporting for Radio and Television Tonga News, I'm Alice Tupo.
The beach resorts in Tonga are in the process of rebuilding their resorts following the devastating damage produced by the volcanic eruption and tsunami triggered back in January. And the Ohole Beach Resort is set to return to its normal operations this Friday after they reconstructed their building to a higher ground in the area. The reconstruction of their resort is estimated to worth 400,000 pa'anga with the assistance of the World Central Kitchen. In an interview with Radio and Television Tonga News, owner of Ohole Beach Resort, Simana Kami, says the reconstruction is not only a process of recovery from the natural disaster, but also in line with the recent opening of the border for tourists following a border closure for over 2 years ago. He added this is the first phase of the reconstruction project and the second phase is the maintenance of their usual place at the Hina Cave. Meanwhile, despite the official opening of the new building and the services this Friday, a dinner was held last night to host guests from Rotary Club representatives from overseas who visited Tonga to donate assistance to various stakeholders in the country. However, it is understood that Oholei is not the only resort who was severely affected by the 15th of January devastation, with other resorts in the western district of Tongatapu are also in process of recovery. And Tonga police have shown their support towards non-government organizations in Tonga as they believe they are significant parts of the communities. As such, the Tonga Animal Welfare Society, a non-for-profit organization that works to help animal welfare in the Kingdom of Tonga, have received full support by Tonga police. Last Saturday, Tonga police showed its support to toys by participating in a 10 kilometers corporate relay at the 2022 Tonga Marathon fundraising event held at Ha'amonga Amau Thrillington site of Nuku'alofa. Each of the 5 member teams routed a 10 kilometers corporate relay along the east coast of Nuku'alofa through Nuku'alofa. As the first place team winners and top 3 finishers of the 10 kilometers run, Tonga Police corporate relay team were thanked with valued appreciation by the Board of Toys at a prize-giving ceremony following the marathon run. In a statement, Tonga Police said it was pleased to have supported toys in this event and they value the stakeholder relationships and being one of the community. That wraps up this evening's news package, but before we part, here's one final look at today's top stories. A human papillomavirus HPV vaccination program will begin its rollout for teenage girls aged 10 to 14 next month. Deadline for Heart by 12 by-election campaign is set for 9 a.m. tomorrow morning, 24 hours prior the constituency's by-election on Thursday. And TNQAP and APTC partner to strengthen TVET in Tonga. And that's it for tonight. Thank you for your company. I'm Vafna Dobola. Good evening.